I mean, how cool are those flames? I apologize, it's just me. Clearly, you were expecting Mick Jagger. Anyway, thanks for having me. I hope that says thanks for having me. It was actually, the translation was done by a Brazilian woman at the agency, so it may say welcome to Carnival, I'm not sure. And also the title in the agenda, everything, the title of this presentation says, Making Brands Famous in the World, which I guess is as opposed to making them famous in space. What it's supposed to say is making brands famous in the world today, because the world today is very different for marketers and for companies than it used to be. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons is I did this presentation in France last year about sort of polarization. What it was originally called is how to market to people who hate each other, because there is, in an awful lot of countries, this increasing polarization, and what's happening is it's resulting in an erosion of trust. Trust of media, trust of politicians, trust of companies and advertisers. Things are changing for people who are trying to communicate with the world because the world doesn't trust them as readily as they used to. And there are a lot of other reasons. There's fragmentation, there's the fact that we all know that millennials use media in a very different way than previous generations did. And what it all comes down to, the biggest thing is social media, because social media amplifies what brands and companies do. If they do something good, it goes viral. If they do something bad, it goes viral. So what we say to our clients, and have for a long time, is what you do is more important than what you say. We never start with advertising. We start with what can a brand do. And typically, that starts with the product, because for most categories, other than maybe like fragrances or spirits, for most categories, the product or the service is the single most important factor in brand perception. So we try and swim upstream and get very close to product development with our clients. And I want to show you the very first product we ever developed, which was a while back, and it was with Burger King. And we developed it because we knew that people who drive through Burger Kings in the US and in a lot of other places, more than half of them eat some of the food in the car on the way home. So we were looking for something to create, a product to create, to give them something else to eat other than French fries while they were driving. And so with the Burger King kitchens, we invented a product, and this is the commercial we made.
Back in the early days, they used to hand me the whole chicken on a pole.
You see how we put this chicken on that pole? They'd run that car in there, just stick that chicken right in there in your face.
Then they came up with a drumstick. You get the grease all over your hands, it goes right to the steering wheel. Well, then they incorporated the chicken sandwich. And, that didn't work out at all. Now they got the chicken fries. All white meat, streamlined for high-speed consumption. You gotta feed the need for chicken fries.
So that product did very, very well, and the product itself was way more important than the advertising for the product. The product is still around. They stopped advertising it a long time ago. And I think it's an interesting example of getting close to a product and what you can do. And this is an example of something that we didn't do, which I think is very often just as important as what you do. Kraft mac and cheese, I don't know if they have it where you're from. It's gigantic in the US and in a lot of other places. And they came to us and said, okay, we're gonna take all the artificial stuff out. We're gonna make it all natural. And we wanna do a big advertising campaign that says, hey, we've gone all natural. So we talked to their customers, and their customers said, it's the only thing my kid will eat. If you change the recipe, I'll never buy it again. So we said, okay, maybe there's another way to do this. So we came up with a new plan, and I wanna show you a clip. This is Stephen Colbert, who's a big sort of TV pop star in the US, and this is what he had to say about it.
You guys like Kraft macaroni and cheese? Of course you do. You're human beings. Of course you love it. Well, brace yourself, because Kraft has just announced that they've gone natural. Yeah. When they say natural, they mean that they have now removed all artificial preservatives, flavors, and dyes from their classic macaroni and cheese recipe. Here's the deal. Kraft claims you can't taste the difference, and they can prove you can't taste the difference because they changed this recipe 3 months ago, and they've now sold over 50 million boxes of the new recipe without people noticing.
So that was our recommendation. We said, just don't say anything about it, and they didn't. It was they were prepared to spend millions and millions of dollars on a TV campaign. What we did is run one ad that said, we'd invite you to try it, but you already have. And it's pretty amazing because in the first 12 hours after they announced it, more than 200 million conversations started in social media about this thing, and which proves, I guess, that the best buzz is free buzz. I'm going to show work here rather than just talking, because I don't really believe in kind of talking about creative. I think it's kind of bullshit. So I just, I think it's better to just look at it and, hey, it either works or it doesn't. A long time ago, a reporter asked Bob Dylan, what are your songs about? And he said, well, some are about 4 minutes and some are about 5, which is kind of the way I feel about trying to describe creative. This was another interesting thing. There's a huge co-op farm association called Bolthouse Farms, and they grow half of the carrots in the United States. And they came to us and said, we got carrots. We want to sell them and they're healthy. And we said, yeah, well, everyone knows carrots are healthy. So we kind of looked at it and we said, okay, carrots are a $900 million business. Snack food is a $29 billion business. So you're not carrots, you're snack food. And they could make these little carrots, which we called baby carrots. We packaged them like snack food. We put them in grocery stores and said, eat them like junk food. You hit people over the head with it. We called them the original orange doodles. We got them in vending machines in schools. And we did, at Halloween in the US, kids go around and they get trick or treat. So we did these scarets for that, and we sent a couple cases to the White House, and we heard that Michelle Obama actually handed them out, but she wouldn't confirm it publicly. But it was interesting. It was an interesting campaign. It got on the front page of the New York Times, and we did it in 2 little test markets, and we went to talk to these farmers in California and showed them the results of these 2 little test markets. And what happened, they said, and this is an exact quote, we're going to need more carrots. And I want to talk just for a second about Domino's. This is an account we've had for a long, long time, and I was going to look up how many Domino's there are in the world before I came in, but I forgot to. There's a lot of them. But with Domino's, I would say, and don't tweet this, please, but the advertising we've done has maybe not been award-winning advertising, but the ideas that we've worked on with them have really changed the company. And it started out with, we created a suite of products called Anywhere, which allowed you to order a Domino's pizza from your car, you could order it from your smart TV, you could order it from your smart watch, you could tweet, you could text. We created this voice ordering thing, which I always said, wait a minute. So you say, I want a pizza, which is exactly what I did in college. Anyway, we did a text thing, and then we created this little emoji, which got kind of famous. And if you were registered with Domino's, all you had to do is push that emoji, and they brought you a pizza. And they liked it at Cannes. They gave it a Titanium Award, which made me feel good. And the most important thing that happened is that, along with Apple and Amazon, Domino's became one of the 5 biggest e-commerce companies in the world. So that's kind of interesting. Then we also worked with Domino's to actually create a specific pizza delivery car, which we worked with auto manufacturers in Detroit to make. And then we can bring it to your house, we can bring it to your office, but there are a lot of places where you might want a pizza that don't have an address, like the beach or a park or someplace like that. So we worked with the tech people at Domino's, and this is what we made.
Let's face it, when you're not at home, it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to get pizza delivered. So Domino's had an idea that one day every man, woman, child, and this guy could enjoy bubbling hot Domino's pizza no matter where they are. An idea so simple, so perfect, so holy shit that was hard to pull off. Introducing Domino's Hotspots.
So there's like 100,000 of those, and they're building new ones all the time. So you can order at Domino's if you're sitting on the beach, and they'll bring it to you. It's sort of an interesting thing. And we try and think of things that Domino's can do. I talked about polarization before. We try and think of things that they can do that everyone will like, that will bring people together. And people talk a lot in the US and a lot of other countries about the infrastructure and how there are problems. So we looked at that and figured out a way to begin to help solve that problem a little bit. Well, I'll show you what it looks like.
Domino's delivery drivers are experts at handling bad roads. But those roads shouldn't ruin your pizza when you carry out. So we're doing something about them, starting with this one. If your drive home is rough on pizza, tell us at pavingforpizza.com so we can fix roads across the country.
So they're actually paving over potholes everywhere, and they go from state to state. This is where they've been so far. And this is like a gift that keeps on giving, because every time they go to a new state, it gets on the news there, and Republicans like them, and Democrats like them, and everyone likes them. So it was a good brand action. I think another thing that we think about a lot is that you have to keep the conversation going. People get bored, and a lot of advertisers or marketers are not aware of that. People get bored, and they get bored fast. So it's important to have a lot of ideas. So this is something that we just came up with. It's a new Domino's brand action, and we'll see. I'd like to know what you think of it.
No.
When you carry out, some things are out of your control. But with Domino's new carry-out insurance, we'll replace your pizza if it gets ruined after you leave the store. Carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 every day.
So it's pizza insurance. Probably not the most important thing in your life, but people are talking about it. And this is, I think, kind of interesting. Domino's stock price, after we had it for a couple of years and after the sort of the meltdown, was a little bit over $2. And I think it closed last week at a little bit over $246. And if I was half as smart as I think I am, I would have bought every share I could have gotten for $2.40. And I would have gone home in a Gulfstream 4 tomorrow, but I like Bulgaria Airlines. So anyway, thanks for having me. I'm sorry I don't have a hovercraft or anything, but thanks a lot.